Hi, this is Jim Turner, and I'm here with Jake Cogan, and at his show, Don't Be Alone with Jake Cogan, and I'm going to be.
Don't be alone. Don't be alone. Don't be alone with Jake Cogan. Bonus episode!
Hi, welcome to Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. I am so glad you're here, and I really appreciate all the positive comments I've gotten lately about the show and how excited people are about the show, and that's makes me very, very happy. And that's going to be ruined today by our guest, Jim Turner, who is going to come and tell us about his life. I actually am very interested to talk to Jim because Jim is a guy who does a million things and does it with kind of abandon. I think he does it with purpose, but you know, we're recording this after the conversation that I had with him, and it seems like my ability to perceive the future is the thing that's stopping me from doing things that Jim does because he doesn't have that ability. But you can decide for yourself what it is that makes him raise all kinds of money for charity and raise all kinds of money for great causes and spend time supporting friends and going to plays and creating art. And he does all these things that I do sometimes, some of it, but not nearly as much as he does. And I feel like I wish I was more productive in that way. And so we'll be talking about that and many other things with Jim Turner, character actor extraordinaire, right after this.
Don't be alone with Jake Cogan.
I just did an introduction which said that Jim Turner was going to be here. Now here we are. Jim Turner's here. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey.
Let's begin at the beginning of our relationship.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
We first met, I don't know, 35 years ago?
It would have been 92 or 92, I think. Maybe
Okay.
three.
Wally Wolodarsky and I, my writing partner at the time, had written a pilot called Monkey World. And we were scanning far and wide for somebody who could play the star of the show. The show was about an asshole billionaire kind of guy who lost everything and the only thing he had left was a really crummy amusement park called Monkey World in Orlando, Florida. We were fashioning it on Donald Trump, kind of like a Donald Trump kind of guy. But, you know, in 1992, nobody gave a shit about Donald Trump. He was a joke.
He was a billionaire joke.
Billionaire joke. So we wanted, and we were looking for the right guy with the right amount of pathos who could carry it off, much like Steve Carell carried it off on The Office. Like, you didn't hate Steve Carell, even though he was not a good boss and he was so many not good things.
Right.
But you have this warmth and this charm, but you were able to, of everyone we read in Hollywood, you were able to sort of carry this off and give us the sense of this entitled weirdo, but who had a heart somehow deep down there. So we were very excited. Fox was making it, and they kept telling us, we said, we got our guy. And they said, well, can you ask Steve Martin to do it? And I said, like, can you ask Albert Brooks to do it? Can you get Robin Williams to do it? And so our answer was no. We can't. If we had those people, we wouldn't need you, Fox.
Right.
We could do anything we wanted with anyone.
Right.
And they kept saying, I don't know. And at some point, we even got Robin Williams. You got Robin Williams, who was a friend of yours.
To come in?
To recommend you.
Okay.
To write a note to Sandy Gruschow, who was running Fox at the time.
Oh my God.
Saying, this guy is good. He's good. He could do it.
I totally forgot. About that part of it.
It is true. Let me remind you. Anyway, needless to say, Fox did not go ahead and make this a TV show, which is very upsetting for me.
And it was really because I was new to town, and I got a hold of a lot of scripts to read just to see, what could I go out for?
Right.
And I had a very low level agent at the time.
Both in height and importance?
No, he was a tallish guy.
Okay, all right.
He submitted me for something, and they sent the script. And I read a breakdown of Monkey World, and I went, "What is this?
Yeah.
This sounds exactly like what I do.
Right.
Some weird,
Right.
fucked up guy that you sort of need to root for. But
Yeah.
and he got me a script because I don't know why you want this, but here it is.
Right.
And I read it and
Right.
I laughed hysterically.
Right.
And I had an acting teacher, Brian Reese, that I went in and worked on scenes with. And I came over, auditioned for it, and then I called my friends, Higgins Boys and Gruber,
Sure.
because it was at Universal, and they were working. They had a student, like a office there.
Right.
And I called them up. What are you guys doing? Oh, come over for lunch. So I came over, and you and Wally were there. And they said, what are you guys, they were saying, what were you doing here? I said, auditioning for something called Monkey World.
Right.
Really funny pilot. I think it went really well. And you and Wally were like, wow, that sounds great. What's it about? And I was explaining.
Yeah.
And I said, and I got a call that I'm, coming back in next week for the producers. Oh, that's good. And when I left, everybody went, oh, good luck, good luck.
Right.
And then I came in the next week and I walked them through. It's you guys.
Right.
And I went, what? Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah. We had it over on you, man.
Yes, you
We
did.
certainly had it over on you.
And then they brought me to Fox.
Yes. Well, you were great. You were great. You were exactly right. And they made a huge mistake.
You should have written a thing called Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I did. Schitt's Creek is very close. They didn't steal. Schitt's Creek did not steal. To be very clear, they did not steal our idea of Monkey World. However, they're shockingly similar, and Schitt's Creek is a very good show, and our show could have been a very good show.
Yeah.
Like that. So anyway, that's the beginning of our relationship. We're forged in sadness and destruction, and yet here we are.
Yeah.
32 years later,
Yeah.
and we're still friends.
Yeah.
What's that about?
I don't know.
What's that about? Two losers
Yeah.
who didn't get the thing that we needed to get done.
Are we just continually making bigger and bigger mistakes?
That could be. Well, partly what my problem this week is, why you're here. My show, Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan, there's my logo, Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan, is about communication, sitting with people, talking, which I like. But also I usually have an issue that I feel like my guest could have an insight on.
Okay.
And my issue this week is that I don't feel like I have a desire to do things, but I don't feel like I do as much as I desire. And I feel like you're the kind of guy who does a ton of stuff. Like, you show up at Charlie's concerts, you show up at people's shows, you show up, you just recently flew across the country to do, I don't even know what you were doing in Chicago when you saw our friend Steve Rudnick.
That was just a fun trip.
So taking fun trips. You just go, I want to take fun trips. I don't do it.
Yeah.
You've been putting on shows for, 40 years. Like, you were with Duck's Breath Mystery Theater.
Yeah.
And you've, in Los Angeles, you've put together many, many shows, including the Girly Magazine Party, which is legendary, and Clown Town City Limits. You put shows together in your backyard when you want to raise money for important causes. I have to think really hard if I'm going to buy hot dogs and grill them. Honestly. Like, I really I'm going to turn on the barbecue. God, that means I got to clean the barbecue. That means I got to, I'm waylaid by the idea of things happening while you just seem to just forge right ahead.
The way you describe it, it sounds more productive than it is. It's actually not very productive.
How much have you raised for the
Good Deed Corps?
The Good Deed Corporation.
The Texas Turnout wing of the Good Deed Corps.
Right.
This is a Texas nonpartisan voter registration thing we have in the Rio Grande Valley.
Right.
Me and a bunch of people. And kind of my job in it is to, we used to put on benefits.
Right.
And we always had to rent someplace. We had to go to Spaceland and then rent it. And then, we got to guarantee this. Oh, they don't have chairs? Oh, we got to rent the chairs. We got to bring them in. And I was, I'm on the entertainment committee, if there is a committee. And my wife had a 65th birthday party, and she never wants a birthday party. Never, ever, ever. but she became a Harry Styles freak.
Right.
I mean, a freak. And she said, all right, I want a birthday party this year. And I want everybody to come dressed like their version of Harry Styles. I want Harry Styles music playing. I want Harry Styles videos playing. And I want a Harry Styles cake. And then I want Harry Styles to show up.
Right.
And I said,
And you arranged all that.
I'll do what I can. And I did all of it except for Harry.
Right.
And we were watching these videos. I hung a movie screen that I bought from Dave Foley.
Right. Our good friend Dave Foley.
Dave and Chrissy at their garage sale.
Right.
Hung that. And I was showing these videos on it. And I went, wow, look at this. It got dark. And that looks great.
Yeah.
And it was just a little speaker, but it sounds great. Oh my God, I could do movie screenings back here.
Right.
And I wasn't thinking benefits. I was just thinking, hey, get everybody in the backyard, have a little barbecue.
But even that, get everybody in the backyard, have a barbecue, and show a movie. That's never happened in my house. That's
What?
never going to happen in my. But how much money have you raised for the Good Deeds?
We've
Group?
raised, I think, close to 500,000.
I love that.
Okay.
I love that. Anyway, I'm a big proponent of that.
Okay,
I'm
good.
a big proponent of you doing all that work.
Okay.
Now the question is, what about me? Like,
Well-
why don't I jump in?
Well, I've always been the organizer of things. We're playing poker tonight.
We are.
And I'm the one that sends out the poker thing.
Right.
Who wants to play?
Mhm.
Oh, you can't play. You just told me you could play.
Right.
I know, but I can't now. Okay, now I go to the sub list.
Right.
Once a week, I organize a Wednesday basketball game with people that I have no business playing basketball with anymore because I've lost those skills.
Right.
Well, our house in Des Moines was always I don't want to say safe house because it wasn't like we had
You didn't
friends.
have meth addicts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't that, but
Right.
people liked coming to my house.
But could you be a meth addict and come to your house?
we didn't really have meth.
All right.
All we really had was weed and LSD, I
All
think.
right.
I didn't do any LSD.
Right.
But, I smoked the weed.
Sure. Lots of kids your generation did.
Yeah.
And that's how you became Randy of the Redwoods.
Kind
Can't
of.
do
yeah.
that. Can't do that character without having smoked some weed.
Right. But it wasn't really, if you go back and look at Randy, he doesn't really have
He's not a drug.
There's no drug
he's
references.
Supernatural.
There's
He's a
no drug
natural guy.
references. It's all just this is who he is.
Right.
And you assume, okay, this is some sort of acid casualty
Right.
here. But that's not necessarily true.
Right. This is the character that you did on MTV for a long time.
Yeah.
And did it start with the Duck's Breath mystery?
It started with Duck's Breath.
Yeah, okay.
It started with the show we did that they said it was a variety show. It wasn't a Duck's Breath show, but it was all the Duck's Breath guys. And we did a variety show. And somebody said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to just bill me as Jim Turner sings 9 songs. And I didn't have songs.
Right.
I didn't play the guitar.
Sure.
I came out with a guitar and I assumed, because I wasn't a trained actor or trained improv guy or any of that, I just sort of did it. And I went out thinking, man, if once those lights hit me, there's people laughing, I'm going to be golden. And I went out and I could not think of a funny song. I kind of fumbled with the strings. I think I dropped the guitar. I went, what the fuck? I didn't plan anything. I get
it now.
This sucks.
I get it now. You do not have the ability to think of the future.
No.
And so
oh, God,
that's
no.
why you're agreeing to do all these things, because you don't think of the consequences of what it's going to take to clean it. You're not thinking of folding up chairs till 3 a.m, like at a big party, which is what I'm thinking about.
Jay, you're absolutely right. I do not think well of the future. I don't plan.
Oh, okay.
I'm better now.
Yeah.
I'm getting better, but for most of my life, no. And what happened was I ended up just running off stage.
Right.
Then we moved to San Francisco from Iowa City. That happened in Iowa City. We moved to San Francisco, and one night we were trying to come up with new material, and Merle, one of the guys in the group, went, "Hey, Jim, how about that guy? Remember the guy you did with the guitar? You sang, well, he didn't really sing
And he
songs.
ran away, yeah.
I said, what do you mean? Do that? Do what? I didn't do anything.
Right.
Oh, no, it was really funny. And I went, what the fuck are you talking about? And so I did. I got an electric guitar, and I went out, and I had like one joke, But then once I started doing it, I started to understand who Randy was, and I started to have fun with it. And it grew and grew and grew. And finally it grew too big, and I had to be talked to, because I would just let it go by duck's breath. I would just let it go. And we were doing a lot of touring then, because Merle and Dan were on National Public Radio.
Right.
And so we could fill any place with a college radio station, we could fill the room.
Right.
And so I was doing Randy, and I'd think of something else and extend it. And it got to like 20
that's not
plus
good.
minutes.
That's
Getting
too much.
big laughs.
I know, but it's too much.
Finally, Billy said to me, one of the guys, Jim, can we chop a little bit out of Randy? I said, what are you talking about? It's killing. It's killing. He said, I understand. There's 4 of us.
Right.
And we got stuff too.
Right.
Okay.
That's good.
So
That's good.
But then MTV came to a Duck's Breath show in New York at the Bottom Line, and David Felton brought a bunch of people from MTV, and I got a call from one of the guys going, hey, we love this Randy character. Can he come host the 20th anniversary of the Summer of Love on MTV?
Right.
So 1987. And I went there. They didn't even fly me there. They paid me $1,000. We shot 22 spots and a music video in 2 days. I had to listen to a song, Either Way It's Fine With Me, that he slowed down to 1/4 speed. So it was like,
right.
And when I lip synced it,
Right.
I did do it, and it took 20 minutes to get through the song.
Of course, because
Once.
then when you show it back, you're moving super fast.
Super fast.
Yeah.
He said, move as much as you want.
Right.
Throw the guitar at us, back and forth.
Sure.
Everything. It's going to look great. And it became a, little hit on MTV. And then the next year they asked me to run for president.
Okay.
So I ran for president.
But so you did Randy the Redwoods, and you became an MTV icon.
In '94, they were going to put a stage up at the 25th anniversary of Woodstock, and they said, we want to send Randy there. And I hadn't been on MTV in 4 years, and I said, sure. So we went, and I went with the guy who was the first, who directed all the Randy stuff, John Payson, who made the movie Joe's Apartment. We went with Felton too, and we got onto the grounds before they opened the gates. And we went all around the grounds. We shot stuff. We shot mostly background footage we were going to use. And then the gates opened, and I dressed up as Randy. We went down as they opened the gates to Woodstock.
Right.
And we're standing there waiting to greet people, and we're going to interview them and stuff like that. And the gates opened, and people started running in, and some people carrying coolers and tents were going, holy shit, dude, it's Randy. Oh my God. And all these people ran over to me. The first people ran over and were touching me and shaking my hands and rubbing my shoulder. And I'm going, oh my God.
Icon to these people.
And I couldn't walk in the crowd as Randy.
Wow.
I just couldn't. I interviewed Todd Rundgren in the crowd, and I walked 5 feet into the crowd, and they wouldn't stop screaming my name.
Yeah, that's how I am at a Baskin Robbins. When people see me at a Baskin Robbins,
he's here.
Then Jake Hogan. Oh my God, Jake Hogan. And I was surrounded by people.
He's back, guys.
He's back. I wonder if he's going to get the Rocky Road. He's getting the Rocky Road. Oh my God. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You should be, I know you are. You are proud of Randy. And
I am.
Work. Yeah,
I'm very proud of Randy.
Yeah, it's great.
Remember the night that you gave your mom's 800 number for her thing when you won the Emmy?
Yes,
HBO threw an Emmy party at some Beverly Hills place that I went to. And first of all, they went in, and the show that I was on then, Arliss, was never treated well by HBO.
No.
They treated
it like a second-class citizen.
Yes.
And why? Do you know why?
It wasn't hip. Like
That's right.
Larry Sanders is hip. It wasn't hip like Sopranos, Sex and the City.
Robert Wall was buddies with
Chris Albrecht.
With Chris Albrecht, who kind of ran the show there, and that was his friend, and they were going to make this show, but all the young kids who want to do hip things, that wasn't what they were looking for.
No.
Yeah, I got it.
But we ran.
But you
we were on for
seasons.
7 years. 7 years.
7 seasons. Yes.
So anyway, we went in and we didn't have a table. We didn't have a table, and I walked around because we got there early before the Emmys while they're still on, and somebody said, "Hey, go find our table, Jim." And I went into this giant dining room. We didn't have a table. Everybody else had tables. Mr. Show had 2 tables.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Everybody had one table, at least 2, sometimes 3. We didn't have a table.
Wow.
And I walked in and a waiter came over and, "Hey, Kirby, how you doing, man?"
Right.
Good. Do we have a table? And he goes, yeah, of course you do. What are you talking about? Yeah. And he couldn't find one.
Right.
And I think he went over to, I can't remember whose table, Sex and the City or somebody, and they had 2. And he goes, "They have 1 now. Here's your table."
That's great.
So Hefner came in with 6 girls.
Sure.
And
his
they sat
girlfriends.
him at a table.
6
and
of
I
his girlfriends.
went, wow, what the? Just weird.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
It's weird. It's weird. And now the stories are out from the Playmates themselves how weird it was.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
telling us, was it weird for, it was as weird as it seemed, it was that weird for us too.
Yep,
Yeah. That is interesting. Now, you want to know anything about me?
I do.
Okay, I don't know. You didn't ask. You have not asked anything. You just talked about yourself the whole damn time. It's fine.
All right.
It's fine. I guess you're the guest and I'm the host. That's how it's supposed to go, right?
I don't know.
I guess I don't know either.
I don't know how these work.
I don't know. I don't know either. I'm just still learning.
I've never been on one. This is my first podcast.
This is good. This is why I don't want to be alone. This is I get to sit and talk with you. I had to learn some things about you. I've learned many things about you over the years. Learned about your European trip where you almost died. I learned about a million. We don't have time to go into this.
Okay.
But just know for a fact that you took a trip with no money, didn't know where you're going, and you to meet somehow
My
your family in Italy, and you almost died.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic story. We'll do it for another time. But right now we're going to go to what I like to call viewer mail, because we're going to the next
Viewer mail or listener mail?
Now it's time for listener mail.
listener. You're correct.
And by the way, your theme song and all the bumpers are fantastic.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of Charlie. so-
Charlie Cogan is a very talented young man. Anyway, here's the question from listener mail. This is a very kind of a tender subject. What is the last thing you want to see before your eyes close and you pass on to the great unknown?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What? Did somebody ask that?
Somebody asked that. Yeah.
Who?
This guy named Maynard, who asked like 90% of our questions. Maynard.
I was listening. I
Yeah.
heard Kevin Nealon had a Maynard
Yeah.
thing too. I have literally had things where I think I was dying.
Right. You were in
because of
Europe.
low blood sugar. No,
Oh, no.
that was simply sick. I was sick. And it could have been really tragic,
Okay.
but I never had that moment. I've had moments in low blood sugar things at night, extremely, extremely, extremely low blood sugar, where I've said, just let it go. Just give up. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. And this is all, in the dream, I was going, this is just a joke. And it's all good.
Yeah.
You know, if I go away, my wife, my son, they'll survive. They'll go, oh, that's too bad.
Right.
Who wants his car? And it was fine,
Yeah.
I can do this.
So
Maybe
did that,
listening to a record, yeah. I'm going to put together a mixtape of my favorite
So each one
songs.
of the songs, if you died listening to this song, you'd be fine.
Waterloo Sunset could be.
Sure.
It could be Days by the Kinks also. That's a fantastic song, which
Right.
really sums up a thing like this.
Yeah.
Thank you for the days.
Yeah.
These endless days.
That's a good
sacred
song.
days you gave me. There's so many.
My friend the witch doctor?
No,
No?
not as much.
No. My friend the witch doctor, he told me what to do. As you're slowly fading away. Come on.
I have found a fantastic new record. I love ambient music. Love Eno. Love discrete music.
Right.
Love that stuff. And there's a ambient record called something Winged Dreams of the Sullen. Winged Victory of the Sullen. That's the name of this group. It's two guys.
Winged Victory
And
of the
it's
Sullen.
beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I use it for sleeping.
Yeah.
And I wake up in the middle of the night hearing the most beautiful, ethereal music.
You were, for a while, and maybe you still are, were a spokesman for diabetes?
Well,
promoting the disease, hoping that other people get it?
I assist them.
All right.
No, I was on a TV show called, I've been very open about having type 1 diabetes since 1970. So that's what, 54 years?
You were a pioneer in the diabetes world.
There was a TV show called D-Life.
Right.
That was about diabetes, type 1 and type 2. And I was one of the hosts of the show. And I love doing it.
Do you do the patch?
Okay.
Is there a patch?
I don't do a patch.
Okay.
I do you see that little thing?
Yeah.
That's a little thing
Jim's
that's
pointing at a little
telling
thing
me
shoulder.
what my blood sugar
Yeah,
is.
it's
on this.
constantly monitoring
every
you.
5 minutes.
Okay.
And then if it goes low, it goes blah, blah, blah. It gives me warnings.
Right.
And I have when it goes below 55, a baby cries.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't just cry, it screams. It's like, wah!
Right. I assume it's a recording of a baby.
It's
they
a
don't
recording.
actually bring a baby by.
No, it's
That's
a person that works, and they go, looks like Jim is low.
Right. All right.
The first time I ever used the baby crying, because I was sleeping through all my alarms, I would just ignore them. I
Right.
just wouldn't. And I fixed it to baby crying, going, I will pay attention to this, because that baby crying is very unpleasant.
Right.
I went to the airport, and everything was in the X-ray machine, and my blood sugar was really low. And I'm standing there, and I'm going, okay, I hope they don't give me the business about anything, because I can't really stand around. I got to get to somewhere and get something to eat. I need something to eat. And while my bag is in the X-ray machine, this baby goes crying in the machine. And people kind of looked up, look around, and I turned to the woman next to me and said, my blood sugar's low.
As if that explains everything.
And maybe kind of pointed at the machine like, okay, dude, get away.
Right. That
get
doesn't
away.
make any sense
I'm
at all.
worried about the baby in the machine.
Sure. Yeah. That makes much more sense. Well, I hope you survived that moment. I don't know that you did.
I did.
Okay, that's fantastic.
And I put on some ambient music.
Yes.
Laid down there and said, let me go. Just let me go. And TSA said, that's not our job.
No, you have to stay.
Yeah.
That TSA wants you to stay. Jim, thank you for being here. And I want to thank you, the listeners and viewers. That's your camera. For being here. Thank you, Kogan Nation. That's what we call ourselves, Kogan Nation.
Wow.
No, I just made that up.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to buy. Do you have hats?
No, we're trying to figure out hats.
Yeah. T-shirts.
Anyway, thanks for being here. Please don't you be alone. Go out and talk to somebody. Share some time with somebody in person. It's very fun. Not necessarily with Jim, but with other people. So you go do that, and we will talk to you and see you next time.